Hey you! Yes, you! Before the video starts, I wanted to make sure that I talked about my Extra Life campaign for this year. If you don't know, every year, Arbitrary Hero, we raise money for Cincinnati Children's Hospital along with other causes. That's something that we personally find important to do. This year, my personal goal is to raise $1,000 for Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And if you look here and down in the link down below, there is a link to my Extra Life page. If you go there, you will see 4 donors. I've got a bunch of different prizes I'm giving away. We've got sponsors again. Shout out to Hero Forge, Dungeon Masters Guild, Foundry VTT. And I've got Transformers and TTRPG raffle, both of those. You can see all the different raffle prizes. Here are the Transformers prizes. I want to talk about those. I've got Generations Selects Black Zarek, a bundle of Shattered Glass toys with their comics, the War for Cybertron Golden Disc collection. You can see here both the Netflix and the Origins Bumblebees together that I reviewed earlier in the year. A bunch of stuff. And all you have to do to be entered to win them is donate $10 to my Extra Life page. If we go up top again, we'll see, I know it's a long page, just like William Abe here, or Son Eric, or Thomas Gerber, you donate at least $10 and make sure it's not anonymous so I can see that you donated and enter you into the raffle. And then put in the text Transformers Raffle, and you'll be entered in on December 10th during our charity live stream. I'll be picking out the winners. There will be at least 10 winners, and in order they'll get to pick from the prizes. There is a chance that there will actually be more prizes added in. I'm still finalizing some of those details. So if more prizes get added, then yay, you're automatically entered to win those as well. Hopefully this is quick. We'll get back to the review because Knockout is pretty amazing. Matching contribution. For me personally this year, aside from donating myself to the Extra Life campaign for Cincinnati Children's Hospital, myself and the Arbitrary Hero team, if I hit my goal of $1,000, I will be also donating $1,000 personally to the Center for Human Rights in Iran. If you haven't been following the protests and unrest that are happening in Iran due to the brutality of that government, the way they treat women, and their theocracy that they're enforcing on everyone else. It's an issue that's passionate to me personally. I've already, supported them and donated, but I'll be throwing in another $1,000 on top of what I've given if we reach my $1,000 goal. So knock on wood, you donate $10 and it becomes $10 to help sick kids and $10 to help the protesters in Iran. Plus you're entered in for Transformers prizes. So keep checking back on the Extra Life page. New prizes will get to be added in, and I'll keep posting about it on the social media. And let's get back to the review. Thanks again, everyone. Bye. Say bye, Ollie. Bye.
Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations, the Legacy series. This is the Wreck and Rule Collection Autobot Springer. And Autobot Springer here in his car mode is very clearly a repaint of the Siege, the War for Cybertron Siege Springer mold. Same toy, just the Siege one was the movie colors, and here we have toy colors. And he's looking like a very G1 Springer. I've got a lot to say about the transformation. The car mode seems, mostly fine. It is Cybertronian-y. There's some cool little detailing inside here that I think reinforces what is a large slab of painted but still clear plastic. He's got a nice glossy wrecker badge up front, nice and big. He rolls nicely once you do have him transformed properly. The biggest thing I don't love about this car mode is the plastic color they chose. I would have much preferred this darker gray in more places, and then maybe with even darker accent pieces. This type of plastic, this light gray plastic, to me always comes off a little bit anemic and lifeless. I would have also preferred some painted rims here, but there is a decent amount of paint that's going into this canopy piece. And then, of course, it's his, right, he's like a weird hybrid alien car tank. And here we've got his turret on top that, because it's made out of his helicopter pieces, does spin very freely, which is a little disappointing. Other than that, I mean, other than like the weird proportions and weird wheel line here, which is very G1 Springer accurate, there's not a ton to complain about. If you like G1 Springer and you like the toy version, or you want one with a big wrecker badge, this one is decent enough in alt mode. Now, I do want to compare him. I do have Thrilling 30 Springer here. Looking at these two next to each other, this is the current Springer in my collection. Aside from some paint damage here, I think it looks really nice. Again, we've got this darker plastic. I really like these bigger tires. They feel weightier and meatier. And I do like the proportions better here. They're both Cybertronian style alt modes, but this one has like this like Batmobile feel to it. It just looks more like a car. Now, there are some little gappy issues here, but I prefer this style of car versus this style of car. Other than that, though, you know, they look good together. They're both decent Voyager class alt modes. And I don't think there's a ton else to say about this car mode, so let's go ahead and start transforming him into helicopter mode. To start the transformation, we're going to come in up top, we're going to remove our bits here, we're going to break up his cannon into 2 sword pieces and 2 gun pieces. The sword pieces, they can form our helicopter blades by sliding in right here. I like to have it so that these little tab pieces go in opposite directions. To me, it implies a slight spinning motion. But we're going to set that aside, coming to the rest of the vehicle mode. The back piece of this car mode, and you've probably seen this already. I haven't reviewed this figure before because I'm a slowpoke, but I'm sure you've seen different reviews of the Springer toy. And we're coming in and we're separating out the back piece. We're going to drop things down just a little bit so we can get out our heel pieces and then flip this out and around at the knees. So bringing this section out, if we can separate, there we go. Bringing everything around on that hinge so we get things pointing kind of the other way. We can separate out the tabs here, which do have kind of a weird twisting motion to get them separated, and it does, it might be hard to see on camera, but I can see white stress marks in that gray plastic, which is really unfortunate. We're going to flip our thighs around 180 on both ends, allowing us to flip out these sections, which will flip out all the way after, and we're going to get these arms out of the way. They just tab in right here. We're going to split those out. We flip out this section, bringing this heel up, and then this over here, flipping that out the rest of the way, gives us our tail of the helicopter. Same thing here, flipping this, wait, there we go. Same thing here. We can come in now at the waist, and we are going to, the hip piece comes down. Same thing on this side, comes down. And things can just tab together in the center. Oh, we got 2 tabs, one double tab in the back, and then a tab kind of at his like halfway location. And with those tabbed in, if we make sure everything's lined up, we can slide our robot feet and pieces of the helicopter down beneath. Let's see, make sure that's all the way down. Down beneath this section of the cockpit here on both sides, like so. And we have 2 tabs here that kind of help keep things in place. Bringing back down the back piece, I guess, of the helicopter, which does have 2 slots on each side that connect to 2 tabs on each side here. Just get everything secure. And then we can bring in the arm pieces here, these robot arms. The armature comes down, and then we can squeeze in, and same thing on this side. We're not going to tab in yet because we got to create the slot for that. We come in and we separate out the back piece here, flip out our helicopter fin. I guess it's like a side fin piece. Flip it 180, bring it back to where it was, putting the 5mm peg back in the fist here, and then this whole assembly now with that side fin piece exposed, there's a slot here that lets us connect right into here. And we just see if we can crunch it in place. Give it a good... maybe mine's just a little high. There we go. Squeeze. And there is a lot of just like that, like looseness in transformation that makes things a little unsatisfying. Coming in, bringing things apart, flipping that 180. Yep. Bringing the armature down as far as we can so we can come in and, again, get that slot in, and then up top give it a squeeze, and there it clicks. And I will say, it's way easier to go from car mode to helicopter mode than from bot mode to either mode. And the reason is you don't have to undo this section right into this clear section. There's a locking joint in here that comes undone in robot mode. And I struggled for a very long time getting that to work. It was very frustrating. The whole experience kept me pretty down on this mold. I wasn't very happy. You can put his guns in his fists, and that does hide them pretty well, but then he also doesn't really have like a gun to shoot. You can also put it up front like so. And that's where I prefer them. And overall, again, this is like a weird-looking Cybertronian helicopter. The top spins just fine. He's got guns that point. He's got obvious car mode wheels. He's got really weird side fin pieces that want to collapse. I wish these had a locking point here. Same thing with here. This feels very loose. There's like kind of a locking point here. But if you twist the other way, it comes undone really, really easily. And again, like I was saying, if I have pictures. I'll throw a picture up here. If you don't really press this down in place until it gives you a good strong click, which I didn't realize was the case, the force from bringing the pieces, the arms in, forces the nose down, which forces this back piece to separate. It was very, very frustrating. I went online. I got some help from some different people and friends to figure out what the hell I was doing wrong. But once you do get it all clicked into place properly, it does look pretty good. And once you know it the first time, it's much easier to do it the second time around. But it is a frustrating piece of just transformation design. And again, the wiggliness, the fact that you kind of like have to squeeze the arms in together is a little frustrating. But he still looks pretty decent as a G1 helicopter. He swooshes and all that. That said, he's like a G1 Springer helicopter mode, and that, like, the design of it just to me doesn't look that great. But for comparison, let's get him next to our other Springer. Here is my Thrilling 30s Springer, and I gotta say, again, I think I prefer this mode better. It just seems more aerodynamic. Like, we've got a nice, like, kind of pointed, implied nose cone here. The gun on the bottom I prefer. The blades, I think, you know, both blades look fine. I just like this look. They managed to get a car to look like a helicopter here. The fact that the wheels are hidden on both ends is nice. Here it just looks like, again, it's Springer, which is kind of, he's a car with like a helicopter blade on top, which, you know, works because that's what G1 fans want. But, like, for me, the cooler Springer design is this one. This just looks like the cooler vehicle, which is something that is important to me. And the transformation there I much prefer as well. All right, with that comparison done, let's go ahead and get into transformation to robot mode. Starting out from helicopter mode, going into robot mode is kind of nice. We're going to take off this helicopter blade, split those out, put that aside, take the guns to the aside, come in again, and all kind of focus on this back canopy piece. We can get that open. We can come in and split out these arms on both sides. Open up the tab where the fist was, which lets us bring down... Oh, got something caught. There we go. Bring down the bicep, flipping this piece around, closing it back up, but this time closing and accordioning down the shoulder piece. Same thing on this side. And I am impressed I managed to do this transformation so far without causing these green tab pieces to come off, which I was definitely expecting to happen. Bring this down again, flip this around, same thing as before, close it up, and we do have our arms done. With our arms done, we can come focus on the legs. We're going to split apart the back of the helicopter. Get those tabs. They are nice and tight. There we go. Get those tabs apart. Slide out our robot feet pieces. We're going to re-collapse things on this end. And then coming in, flipping things back around here, re-collapse them on the inside with... I did it on this side, folding that piece in. Got to do it over here. Fold that spoiler piece in. Closing everything up, bringing our feet down. And down again. We can rebuild his hips by bringing up these joints. Get his arm pieces out of the way. Bring up those joints. Bring down the legs. Flip them 180, and we've got his legs all done. Now we're going to come in up top. And I always get a little frustrated here. This is the piece that frustrated me the most when I was going from robot mode to alt mode, which is that there are two clicking points when bringing this assembly up into this joint when you're going to alt mode. And this whole piece is clear plastic. So your natural instinct is to be careful with it. So you come in and you think that, you hear it. That's not a locking point, even though I thought it was for the longest time. And that's what made everything misalign. You got to really squeeze it back down. And again, that's stressing clear plastic. I cannot imagine that lasts more than like 10 years or so with a repeated play. It just doesn't seem like a very smart design choice. But we came in, we separated out his waist piece. We can come in up top. We can flip down the front of his helicopter in car mode. It has a double joint to pop out his head. We can bring back up. We can bring that piece back up. And on this double joint here, bring out his whole kind of waist, top of his torso, back of his back assembly. Bring his head up on a platform and flip down our two green. Actually, we can flip in our two green tab pieces now. Bring the whole assembly down, and it rests nicely on this little shelf we built. Now, in this position, there is a slot here and a tab here, and that corresponds to a tab here and a slot here on this gray piece. And it's a little frustrating sometimes to get it in right, but you kind of just accordion it in until this tab fits, and then up top, the top tab will also collapse in. Same thing on this side. Again, you don't want to break that tab. You kind of want to flex the plastic a little bit to get that tab in place, and then that slot will naturally close around the top gray tab. We bring up the back piece. We just twist around the head. We make sure we've got our shoulders properly locked in. And here we have Springer in his robot mode. And I will say, once you get into this mode, I understand where the G1 fans are super happy with this Springer, because he does look pretty good. I've got that little loose waist piece, unfortunately. It seems like people's hips have been having issues. But yeah, here Springer looks pretty good and pretty heroic in his robot mode. Again, we've got a nice big blue wrecker symbol. I like that. His shoulders look nice. The colors, I think, in this mode, I think the lighter, for whatever reason, the lighter grays work more for me here. Maybe because they're broken up by a bit more green in the limbs. He does have, he's got his swords. He can hold his swords without any issue. I like to put his guns kind of on his sides, equip him out like this, and stick this piece on his back. And yeah, I think he looks pretty great. That head sculpt, we'll get in close on that. That head sculpt looks really, really nice. Nicely sculpted, nicely painted. Love the two-tone green in the eyes. Looks really nice. Also pretty nicely, goes full 360. Can get some waggle in there. 360 on the shoulders, no problem. I say that as a piece gets caught. And it is, I guess, this green assembly piece doesn't want to go back any further, but you can bring it forward. So you get, not quite 360, but like 270 or something. We do have a second joint in that shoulder piece here. We also do have bicep swivel. We have wrist swivel. We've got a double jointed elbow that doesn't, or sorry, single jointed. It just has an extra piece that goes a little past 45. We do have waist swivel. Again, things get just gummed up back there. The Van Damme can do. He can kick up so high, 90 degrees there, kick back before he runs to his backpack. Thigh swivel. The knee, I don't like the knee because it's one of those tabs that keeps coming undone. This wants to flex way before this joint does in the actual knee, which is way tighter than it needs to be, but the knee can go that far. And then we do have, obviously, ankle tilt forward, backward, side to side. Good stuff there. So his posing, I'd say, like, in terms of what he can actually do, is pretty average, but the knee joint is frustrating. Things just jamming together in his back and his shoulder is frustrating. He looks good, and I think that's the biggest reason people like this Springer so much, is just how good he looks. His transformation, I don't love. His alt modes seem fine. I get it. If you're a G1 fan, they are super G1. But for me, I think I just prefer the other Springer design. Here they are in robot mode next to each other. And I think for me, this illustrates my point. This is G1 Springer, and for those fans that really like G1 Springer, I don't think anything will convince you otherwise. The transformation's frustrating, but if you want a G1 Springer that's, you know, part of the mass-produced Hasbro line, that's the one to get. But for me, this design is the cooler Springer. I love the sleekness, I love how thin he is, how broad he is at the shoulders. I love the transformation here. I really like that Springer face design. You know, everything that I love, this is my Springer. I like the alt mode, both alt modes. I like the way he transforms. I was curious about this mold, and this was an unusual color scheme with the record badge, part of the collection, so I figured I'd check it out, and I'm glad I did, but the transformation was frustrating here. I don't think I'd recommend this unless someone really, really wants a Springer. I think you can find this guy for 40 bucks online. This guy's almost the same price, maybe like $5 cheaper or something, but I'd say if you can find this like Thrilling 30 Springer for 40 bucks online, and you want a Springer in your collection, this is the better toy to me. It's a really excellent figure. And this one, it's just too many frustrating things happening, and two alt modes that I don't super care about. And for a triple changer, I like transforming my toys. Transformation itself is super important, and so is how they look in their alt modes. So I'd recommend this Springer. Now, that being said, what that means is this Springer is the second of our giveaway toys. If you don't know, what I'm doing is I'm reviewing the whole collection, and then I'm going to be giving away 5 toys, either the toys from the collection or what I compare them to. You know, we'll see what it ends up being. But we're going to pan our camera up. We have done Bulkhead so far, and that toy, the Legacy Wreck and Rule Collection Bulkhead, I'm giving away because I prefer Prime Bulkhead. Today we have done Springer, and again, I'm giving away Springer away because I prefer Thrilling 30. Next week's video will be the other 3 together because I've already reviewed all of those molds before. And then we'll see what the final giveaway ends up being. So, the question of the day today is, has there been a G1 character or toy that you prefer the design update? Not necessarily a, hey, do you like Prime Wheeljack more than G1 Wheeljack? These are both considered G1 Springer, and it's a very clearly different design identity. So it might be from Dreamwave, it might be from IDW, it might be from the Marvel comic versus the TV show, something like that. Is there a time, or maybe it's like the infiltration design of Menasor, or, you know, whatever, some G1 design that is not the 1984 G1 design that you prefer better than the original. For me, Springer is the one. This is G1 Springer to me. This is, you know, it's other people's G1 Springer, and there's nothing wrong with that. But is there a G1 design update that you prefer over the original? That is the question of the day. If you answer it down on the bottom, again, all the comments that answer the question and want to be entered in the giveaway will be tracked. And then next week, I'll have one more question. And then the week after that, I will announce the winner. I'll draw one randomly and announce the winner. Thanks again, everyone, for watching, and catch you all on the next one. Hopefully this wasn't too negative. I usually like to try and frame things positively, try and find the things I do like, even though this Springer I don't like very much. All right, that's it, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.